Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. I hope you all had a good weekend going with watching NFL because there's a bunch of good games and there's a bunch of weird upsets, if you will. That's been the norm in the NFL this season, so I expect nothing but the same for the most part this Thanksgiving weekend. But let's go ahead and go over my one phrase. Send us a quick summary for each of the games that happened this past weekend. Let's start off with last Thursday in the Patriots and Falcons. Close to 28-3. So the Patriots blanking the Falcons 25-0 was honestly boring to watch. It felt like 23 was kind of felt like the final score in that game, even though the specific one was 25-0. A little jab at the Falcons there, but I know it's popular. The Patriots. They're a team on the rise and all that. But I'm not gonna buy them just yet because now the hard part of their schedule comes up. They have Tennessee, they have Buffalo twice, they have the Colts, I think. So it's like, okay, let's see how they do against that meat of the schedule, and then if they succeed, okay, then I'll buy into them. Colts versus Bills. Taylor, the new man. When we when we have our top five running back discussions, Jonathan Taylor has now entered that conversation. And in my mind, it's not even outrageous to think he could be in the top three conversation. He's been performing that well this year. And it continued with a 5 touchdown performance against Buffalo. Ravens versus Bears. Battle of the backups. So, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields is what we wanted as a matchup. Instead, we got Tyler Huntley, Andy Dalton. It was still, luckily, a fun, entertaining watch, because it came down right to the wire. And once again, the back quarterback, Tyler Huntley for the Ravens, gets a win. It's been the year of the backup quarterbacks. Lions versus Browns, the Midwest losers. Detroit still can't win a game, and Cleveland's looked bad in this win, and they've been looking bad for the most part all year, except for that, since you win. But it's like this was not an exciting game to watch by any means. Texans versus Titans. Tannehill did not expect 4 picks from Tannehill in this game. Doesn't matter that they faced Houston. Throwing 4 picks is not going to get you a W period in this league. We have seen these, like I said, we've seen these upsets throughout the league, and this was never one big upset from this past week. Packers versus Vikings. Jefferson ain't missing. Justin Jefferson was spectacular with over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was absolutely balling. I know the Vikes have, Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, but Jefferson is the reason why they're winning games right now. Saints versus Eagles. Hurts too much. Saints got gashed on the ground, which is weird for them since they are a top 5 rushing defense. Same thing happened against when they faced Philly last year. So it looks like Jalen Hurts might be Sean Payton's kryptonite, because every coach has one. The Saints also couldn't run the ball much themselves with Kamara being out. Shows they need him back. But once again, Simeon needed a fierce rally just to make it interesting. Even then, he threw 2 bad picks. One was a pick 6 and just looked awful in this game. So if Hill's healthy, especially after his contract that he just got, it's time for him to start. Dolphins versus Jets. Messy game for messy teams. This game was sloppy for both teams, whether it's turnovers or missed kicks, etc. But Miami just made the more clutch plays to get this win. Flacco kept in the game, which is nice, but now that Zach Wilson's healthy and is going to be starting this week, we'll see how he's coming off that injury. Washington versus Carolina. Newton's revenge plan fails. The setup was perfect for Cam Newton to go against his former coach who didn't want him anymore, and he had a chance to lead the game-winning drive for the home crowd in his first home game back in years. But instead, Rivera wins the homecoming king and gets the win. It'll be interesting to see how Cam bounces back after this loss. 49ers versus Jags. The gold rush continues. 49ers have gotten back to what they do best, which is run the ball a lot and, and when they do have to pass, take care of the ball. And that's what they've been doing the past couple games. That's why they're back to being 500. Bengals versus Raiders. Vegas collapse again. Vegas was in the game, but in the fourth quarter, since he started pouring it on, the Raiders offense couldn't do much after they scored that touchdown. This has been sounding like a theme of the Raiders past couple weeks. This is why I've kind of sold my stock on them. I feel like their season's over with. Cardinals versus Seahawks. Season's over. This was this game Seattle must win to keep themselves in the wild card discussion. They couldn't even beat Colt McCoy and offense without DeAndre Hopkins and Chase Edmonds, and then they couldn't put up more than 13 points on offense. It'll be interesting to hear the noise and chatter that will surround Russell Wilson or even Pete Carroll this offseason. with how the season's going. What makes it worse, they don't even have a first round pick next year, so the one time they're stuck, they can't even get a high draft pick, so sucks to suck. Cowboys versus Chiefs, somewhat fixed. Last week, a lot of people were saying that Chiefs' offense is back, but after the dominating performance against the Raiders, the first quarter they did, but for the next 3 quarters, they didn't look that dominant against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys were out their top 2 defensive ends, so imagine what they would have done. They would have had them. And obviously what the Cowboys would have done if they were healthy on offense as well. But I will say that what looks like it's fixed is that Chiefs defense that was horrible to begin the season. And if that is, for the most part fixed, then as long as the offense can do its part, then they can get back to the Super Bowl. Did not say that a few weeks ago, but ever since then, I'm changing my mind there. Steelers versus Chargers. Light them up. The Chargers rushed all over the Steelers, and Elk had 3 touchdowns to show for it. Also, the Chargers put in 41 points, definition of lining up on the scoreboard. The surprising thing is that Big Ben coming off COVID and scoring and doing well as much as he did. That was pretty interesting if you're a Steelers fan. So it'll be interesting to see how the Steelers go from here. Giants versus Bucks. A giant mess. Giants have now fired the offensive coordinator Jason Garrett, which I, for the record, was questioning why they ever did it to begin with. And now Freddie Kitchens is going to be the play caller for the rest of the season. So I feel like this is a desperate heat to be like, okay, well, for some reason, Freddie Kitchens is better calling plays, and Deion Jones has success with him. And then we can go ahead and keep Deion Jones for next year. But if not, then we need to move on quarterback, which I feel like either way, you should move on quarterback. That's just me. Okay, so now to go over my predictions for this Thanksgiving weekend. We got the 3 games on Thanksgiving. Start off with the Bears versus Lions. Bears favored by 3.5. Andy Dalton will begin the start this week. Just feels 9%. I'm not sure if Tim Boyle or Jared Goff start for the Lions. I feel like either or. It doesn't really matter in all honesty. I feel like Chicago's defense, despite Khalil Mack being out for us, I feel like they'll just kind of dominate the Lions O-line and receivers and all this. I feel like Detroit, on offense just has to be competent, and then they'll win this game. So they'll win 24-10. Raiders versus Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 7.5, so it shows that Vegas, despite the injuries and the loss last week, is still not deterred from the Cowboys. It also shows how bad the Raiders have been. I do feel like because the Raiders have been free-falling, there's a chance for the Cowboys to get another win here at home on Thanksgiving. Now, I don't think it'll be easy like it should be because, again, Cowboys just have so many injuries. Amari Cooper's out. CeeDee Lamb's on concussion protocol. Ezekiel Elliott has a busted knee, most likely out. 2 offensive linemen out. And as I said, with the 2 defensive end, Gregory and Lawrence out. So I do feel like it'll be closer than it should have been. In the end, the Cowboys pull out them winning 28-17. Bills versus Saints. So this one's kind of interesting here. Bills are favored by 4. In this game, if you tell me it's not looking good for Kamara because he hasn't been practicing this week, and now Ingram's day-to-day with the swelling up knee, so they might have to go to a rookie running back there. But if you tell me that Taysom Hill starts at quarterback this week, I'm not sure they get the win, but I feel a lot better that they could win. If Simeon's starting this week, then Bills will win, despite the Bills, kind of weird, start to their season. Despite Taysom getting the contract, all that, I have a feeling there's some fans going to be dumb to still start Simeon. Obviously, if Hill's not healthy, then that's why. But Hill's a full participant, so it shows that he should be able to go. But for some reason, Payton's down to start Simeon, then Bills will lose games. Saints will lose games. I have Bills winning, and that's assuming I think it's going to happen. So I have Bills winning 28-20. Steelers versus Bengals. Bengals favored by 4 now. This one's very interesting. Again, it's a division game, so this can go either way. I have this being a close game, 1-possession game like last time, because I feel like Pittsburgh's defense will cause problems for Cincy's offense. But I do feel like in the end, Cincy's offense firepower would just be too much for Pittsburgh to overcome. So I have them winning 23-20. Bucks versus Colts. Now this one's interesting because after the Colts dying points against the Bills, a lot of people think, oh, well, how Colts are going to win this game. It's like, let's hold off. First of all, Tampa Bay, kind of got their mojo back against the Giants last week on Monday Night Football. But then also, it's like, the Colts obviously are heavily relying on Jonathan Taylor, but the Bucks are a top 3 rushing defense in the NFL. So if you can't rely on Jonathan Taylor, then it's going to force Carson Wentz to beat you, and that ain't going to happen with Carson Wentz turnover prone himself, which the Bucks are opportunistic on defense. So all this, I do have this being a close game, but I do feel like the Bucks would just win in the end. I have them winning 27-20. Panthers versus Dolphins. one of those even type of lines here. It can go either way. Because while I do like the Panthers' offense, the Panthers' offensive line for the most part. I mean, there's a couple of good players on the line, but the unit as a whole is not that great. And we know Miami's D line will blitz and get a lot of sacks. But then also the Panthers' defense is super good, and Dolphins' offense I feel like won't be able to do much against them. So this being a low scoring game, but in the end I feel like Cam Newton will bounce back, get the win here, so I have them winning 21-17. Titans versus Patriots. Now this is interesting because a lot of people are going to jump on the Patriots here, especially being at home. But I'm actually going to go with the upset here and get the Titans. And here's why. One, Titans played to the level of the competition. That's why they lost against the Jets. Why I lost last week against the Texans. But then yet they can beat the Rams, and they can beat the Bills, and they can beat all the all the better teams, except for Arizona. But that's why I feel like Titans are going to bounce back here. Again, Titans don't have much on offense, so this is going to be a low-scoring game. Their defense is going to have to carry the load here. About them winning 23-21. Eagles versus Giants. Eagles favored by 3.5. I feel like they will cover here, and I feel like they win. I do feel like since, again, in divisional game, I feel like the Giants should do a better job of stopping the run than they did than the Saints did. So I feel like the Giants will keep this close, but at home, I feel like in the end, Philly will win 24-16. Falcons versus Jags. This one's interesting. I feel like the Falcons will finally bounce back on offense this week after 2 horrible weeks on offense, facing the Cowboys defense, Patriots defense. But despite the Falcons kind of getting their mojo back on offense, whether Cordell Patterson or Cameron is back or not, I feel like the Jags are actually going to get the home upset here and get the win. Because again, there's always those upsets, So I have Jacksonville winning by 1, 24-23. Jets versus Texans. Texans are favored by 3. Again, Zach Wilson's back. I do feel like Zach Wilson will be competent. He won't be great, especially coming out of injury. He might make a mistake or two, but I feel like like Flacco, made a mistake or two. By the way, he's competent. So I feel like that's going to be the case for him again. But I feel like the Jets defense won't get let him down, so I have Houston winning at home 23-17. Chargers versus Broncos. This one's go either way game here. Because the Chargers offense is flowing, I feel like Denver's defense, they can contain Chargers offense, but I feel like they won't be able to stop it completely. Because I know that Denver's offense should have success against the Chargers defense, which has been lacking. So Denver should score points, especially at home. It's just a matter of can the Chargers outscore Denver, and I think they can, so I have them winning 34-27. Rams versus Packers. Now, a lot of people will expect a high-scoring game here, but I'm going to expect a very low-scoring game here. Here's why. One, as we saw without Robert Woods and all that, and Green Bay being a good rushing defense despite the injuries that they're having, I feel like they'll be able to shut down that Rams offense. And then because the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Jones will most likely be out once again, I feel like they won't be able to do enough offense to be able to pull away. But that home crowd, and specifically that home weather environment, I'm helping the Packers. I've been getting the win here, 17-10. Vikings versus 49ers. This is a go either way game here. It's flip a coin here. I don't know what to pick here. Minnesota's been on a roll, so I do feel like they'll score a lot. But again, 49ers have been on a roll as well, so I'm just going to go with the home team here, 49ers. I have them winning 28-27. Browns versus Ravens. I have the Ravens winning here. Not easily, because I feel like the Browns defense will kind of contain the Ravens offense, but I do feel like the Ravens will win here at home. I have them winning 17-7 in a lower scoring game. And then for Monday Night Football, you got Seattle versus Washington. Because I feel like Seattle's defense is over. Team season's over, and the fact that Washington has been on 2-game win streaks, trying to get something going there, and they're at home. I have Washington actually getting the upset here. I have them winning 20-14 in the close game here. So those are my predictions for this week. Thank you very much for listening to my podcast. Please subscribe to my channel and learn about me. Thank you very much, and you have a wonderful day.